Good evening everyone and welcome to Gundam News. And this week we've got some huge Gundam Breaker Battlogue news. In the summer they will be launching the aptly named Gundam Breaker Battlogue project, which will consist of an anime, a game or multiple games because Japanese doesn't have plural, and a ton of new Gunpla, both regular releases and P-Bandai releases. Now, we don't know anything yet about the games or game related to this project other than there will be something, but we do know a bit more about the anime and the Gunpla. Now, the anime will be 6 episodes. It's going to be a mini-series, so I can't say right now if it's going to be 6 24-minute episodes or if it's going to be 6 shorts, but characters from Gundam Battlogue Gunpla Warfare and Gundam Breaker 3 will be appearing in it. As for the Gunpla then, they told us almost everything there is to know about them. So we'll go over all of them right now, and there's 2 things to keep in mind while we're doing so. They're all 1/144 scale high grades, and all of the prices are excluding tax. So starting off with the regular releases. In November, we're getting the Gundam Helios for 2,300 yen, around 20 US. And just looking at those pictures, I'm detecting a lot of different mobile suits here. The legs are from the XX, the chest, the waist armor, and the 2 cannons on the back are from the normal Gundam X. The shoulders and arms I can't immediately place, but I feel like I've seen them somewhere before. But they do have a customized version of those energy radiator plates on the arms of the XX, so that is something. Then the beam rifle and the head are from the Destiny Gundam. And finally, the wings are the upside down wings of the Freedom Gundam. I really wonder how much leftover parts this thing is going to have. Then also in November, there is the Gundam Live Lands Heaven for 2,000 yen, a little under $20. And kudos for the name, in case that the design and the name didn't tip you off. This thing is designed to be the polar opposite of the Dead Scythe Hell. And it definitely feels pretty damn holy with that color scheme, the poses they went for, and also making sure that all of the skull motifs from the normal Dead Scythe and Dead Scythe Hell are now customized into something a little bit different. Other than the Dead Scythe parts then, the only other reused part that I spotted on this thing was the blue beam effect part of the Sazabi, or like the Nightingale. In December then, we're also getting 2 kits, with the first one being the Gundam Perfect Strike Freedom for 2,300 yen, again $20, and as the name indicates, it's the Strike Freedom, but now customized to look like the Perfect Strike Gundam. And personally, out of all of them, I think this one is my favorite. The normal Perfect Strike Gundam is kinda clunky, bulky, you know, it just doesn't really come together well. Now, this really looks much more like something that is meant to be. The only thing they could have done better, in my opinion, is the tip of the sword, because as it stands now, it's just a very bulky thing at the end of it, and rather than helping with things, it's actively going to prevent it from slicing through bigger things like capital ships, which, you know, those big swords are usually designed for. Anyways, the second one is the Blazing Gundam for 2,000 yen. I wonder if that name is inspired by the English name of the God Gundam, the Burning Gundam. Because this machine is very obviously a customized God Gundam. Although, looking at it, I'm not sure how much parts they're actually going to be able to reuse of the God Gundam, because almost all of them seem to be customized in such a way that they wouldn't be able to use those of the normal God Gundam. Oh, and instead of attacking with the God Finger or the Burning Finger, it now attacks with the Blazing Foot. Or as a now sadly unavailable video once said, Glowing Toe. Moving on to next year then, in January we're again getting 2 kits. First up is the Barbatauros for 2,200 yen, which I guess dub watchers would pronounce Barbatoros. But whatever, Barbie's horse adventures here seems to be less of a Taurus and more of a Sagittarius. Because in addition to the already super sweet model itself, it also comes with a really sick bow. I really like what they did with the design here. And then secondly, there is the Gundam 00 Command Quanta. Again, a name that makes it very obvious which machine it's based on, but I again wonder how much they're actually going to be able to reuse of that base model. Like, the arms and the upper legs look the same, but other than that, there seemed to be some serious difference here to make the Quanta cosplay as the Command Gundam. Another cool design with a color scheme that I'm totally digging. One thing that stood out to me were those platform shoes it had, by the way. And now we unfortunately get to the 4 kits that the Japanese Gundam.info lists as P Bandai kits, but without a release date. On the English Gundam.info though, the release date is listed as February of 2022, but they are not listed as P Bandai, they're just listed amongst the other kits because they don't make a distinction between the regular releases and P Bandai releases. So there is a chance that the Japanese release date of these kits is different. As always, I will keep you updated. And the good news with these P Bandais is they are just color swaps, so they're at the very least the least offensive of the P Bandais. For 1,800 yen, we have the Gundam Ground Urban Combat type, and it seems to be prepared for urban combat in ye olde Kyoto, or some other city where there's a lot of wooden buildings, because it's got quite the brown color scheme as opposed to the usually quite gray urban camo colors. Also for 1,800 yen, we have the Goof Crimson Custom. Really? You're not calling it Char Custom. You're not going to be saying that it has a Gatling gun with 3 times more Daka than a normal Gatling gun. You're going to miss out on the chance that it's 3 times less of a Zaku than the normal Goof. Sure, your loss. Then again, for 1,800 yen, there is the Gundam Astray Red Frame Inversion, which is a more edgy and cool version of the normal one. And then finally, for 1,700 yen, there is the Wing Gundam Sky Zero. Now, I don't necessarily hate this color scheme, but it's definitely the worst one I've seen today. And while that was all for the Gundam Battlogue stuff, we're getting even more Gunpla. This time from a collaboration. Alongside Hathaway's Flash, the new Detective Conan movie also launched, and we're celebrating that in the only way Bandai and Sunrise know how. With a collaboration to sell you stuff. And of course, along with that, there is a promotional video to really sell you on that. Which is, of course, region locked, but you're not really missing out on a lot because that promotional video is just scenes recycled from both movies with some narration over it, again, to sell you the things. And now you might be wondering how I'm able to tell you what that promotional video is about, even though I just told you that it was region locked. And well, I'm glad you asked. Someone re-uploaded it to YouTube and that video wasn't region locked, so I was able to watch it. So where was I? Right, the stuff they're trying to sell you. For 3,300 yen, you can get a twin set featuring the high-grade Zaku 2 in Shuichi Akai colors and the entry-grade Conan Edogawa in Char's colors. Obviously, this means that Conan will now be able to solve his cases 3 times faster. Moving on to the other highlight this week, after apparently getting leaked early, Gundam.info has now confirmed that Hathaway's Flash will indeed be releasing on July 1st overseas, and is going to be releasing in over 190 countries simultaneously, and as stated earlier, on Netflix of course. It's going to be dubbed in 8 languages: English, French, German, Italian, Brazilian, Portuguese, Castilian, Spanish, Neutral Spanish, and Thai, and it'll be subtitled in 30 languages. Arabic, Simplified Chinese, Traditional Chinese, Hong Kong Chinese, Czech, Danish, Dutch, English, Finnish, French, German, Greek, Hebrew, Hungarian, Indonesian, Italian, Korean, Norwegian, with Bokmal behind it, Polish, Brazilian Portuguese, European Portuguese, Romanian, Russian, Castilian Spanish, Neutral Spanish, Swedish, Thai, Turkish, Vietnamese, Malaysian, and Croatian. So I think it's safe to say that anyone watching this video right now should be able to enjoy Hathaway's Flash. And in other Hathaway's Flash news, it has become the most successful Gundam movie launch to date, earning 337% more than Gundam NT on its opening day. That's one hell of an opening. And there is even more big news. It just doesn't end this week. On the 16th, the first trailer of the newest Super Robot Tyson or Super Robot Wars was released. In celebration of the 30th birthday of the series, they named it Super Robot Tyson 30, and it will be coming to the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and Steam at some point this year. And to illustrate my feelings about the game so far, I'm quickly going to play the part of the trailer where we see the Zeta Gundam. Is it just me, or was that animation quite stiff? Like, I feel I've played Super Robot Wars games in the past where the animation was much more lively. Like, the art itself might look nicer, but it just didn't really move that much, at least what I felt. So I'm definitely going to be waiting on the full lineup before I make my decision whether or not to buy this. But one thing I can say for certain is that if either Tekkaman Blade, Blue Gender, or Daggerm are going to be in it, I'll definitely be picking it up. On to the things that we could get this week. It wasn't a lot, but it was some cool stuff. On the 17th, we got the Real Grade Wing Gundam for 3,520 yen, around $30, and I cannot wait to put him in that bird mode once for the review and then promptly forget about that mode. On the same date, we also got the SDW Heroes Sasuke Delta Gundam for 660 yen and the SDW Heroes Warhorse for 550 yen. $6 and $5 approximately, respectively. And that's already that, but there is yet more Gunpla news this week. On the 15th, the Perfect Grade Unleashed RX-78-2 Gundam won the grand prize of the Japan Toy Award 2021's High Target Toy. And the main reason that they went for this selection was because this model kit really gave you the ability to feel like you were building an actual mobile suit, like with all of that inner frame, the opening panels, lighting effects, and even though I haven't built it myself, I mean, I can totally see where they were coming from. A very well-deserved reward, I'd say. And now for something completely different. You might remember those Gundam PC parts that I covered a while back. And well, imagine my surprise when I woke up this morning to find a JayzTwoMobileSuits video in my sub box about those parts. And not just talking about those parts, he actually built the PC. I'll have a link down below so you can go check it out for yourself, because you really should. I mean, it's no surprise that he did an absolutely amazing job building the computer, because I mean, that's what he always does. But what I also really appreciated is how he tried to stick to the Gundam theme with like some of the parts that weren't really included. Like, for example, he said that there wasn't a lot of yellow on the actual parts of the computer, even though the Gundam does have some yellow in it on the collar and the eyes. So he made the RGB RAM shine gold. A little attention to detail that really goes a long way in my opinion, so definitely a video you should go check out. After this one, it's almost done. Then from Bankore, reservations started on the 14th for a large Shars counterattack acrylic display logo, which will be releasing in August for 3,300 yen, around $30, and alongside it, the Hathaway's Flash and original Gundam movie acrylic display logos were also re-released. Over at the Gundam Café, then, we got some more details on the Rombaral collaboration menu for the Gundam Ace 20th anniversary celebrations. First up, we got to see Raul and Haman in their new uniforms, like the ones we also saw with the Seed cast, and they do look pretty damn good in it. Then they also unveiled the collectible pictures they will be handing out with each of the menu items. All of them, of course, being from Gundam mangas that ran in Gundam Ace. And there's going to be 2 sets of them to collect. One that runs from June 26th to July 25th, and then another one that runs from July 26th to August 15th. So who knows, depending on the situation with the human malware, some of us might actually be able to participate in this. I, for one, would very much like to get that absolutely amazing looking Office Lady Haman picture. And that has been all for this week's Gundam news. There were a few bigger topics that I couldn't tackle this week because there was just so much other stuff to tackle this week around, so I will be talking about them next week, so be sure to tune in again for that. So then, as always, a big thank you to the Patreon supporters. I hope everyone watching has a great evening, and I'll see you all next week with more Gundam news.